Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino. I'm the CEO and founder of K9 for Veterans. Tonight, I got a really special guest, Jen. So,
Jenn
Jen, give us your last name,
Sereque.
Sereque. And we also have Zach, our spokesperson for the Midwest. Jen, it's really an amazing thing what you, and I want the audience to get a full understanding of what you went through to sponsor and raise the funds to sponsor that service dog. It definitely wasn't an easy task. I that much I know from following you and the things you were doing to raise the funds. Why don't you take us from the very beginning on how this all came about?
So I had taken a class on VA loans. I'm a realtor, and I didn't need the class. I just saw that a dog um, was going to be presented to a veteran, and that veteran was going to be surprised. Um, so I go to this, class, and I meet the veteran and the dog, and I am a huge dog lover. I'm a huge supporter of our veterans, and I know what it's like to suffer from depression and anxiety. When I say that, obviously, I feel a much different scale than what our veterans and active service members go through. Um, but I thought I understood the magnitude of what the service dogs did for the veterans. Um, and then when that veteran thought he was actually going to have to give that dog away, um, the heartbreak on his face was just too much. It was too much for me to take, even though I knew he was going to be happy in about 10 more minutes. Um, I couldn't take that. And I'm like, if I didn't get the magnitude, like if I underestimated the magnitude of it, the average person doesn't understand at all. Um, and so, um, Karen Vaughn left us that day with a quote saying, live your lives in a way that's worthy of them dying for. And like, you can't walk out of that class and not try to do something after a Gold Star mom speaks those words. So I decided that I was going to raise $15,000. And through the grace of God and all things good and holy in the universe, I had just so many amazing sponsors. Um, my brokerage, John Green Realtor. We had Guaranteed Rate, Philly Bricks Pizza, Neat Kitchen and Bar, who's veteran owned, Happy Dog Barkeries. So there was about eight total, just local businesses that sponsored me. And we held ice cream socials, raffles. Um, we would go to the Barkery and had a meet and greet with the dog. We managed to get on the Channel 5 News. And so through all of these amazing people, my friends, my colleagues, we did a Tough Mudder. We did the 15K Tough Mudder to help raise awareness. And through all of that, it started in April and it ended the last week of October. And I pulled it off.
Jen, how did it feel? You were able to, when we had the ceremony, which we hold twice a year, you were able to walk in and present that dog to the veteran. What did you feel like? What did that make you feel like?
Um, it was really surreal. I had a bunch of friends join us that night, and everybody was ugly crying, and somehow I was fine. I don't know how. I think I was maybe still in shock that I pulled it off, but it was um, it was really an honor and a privilege to be able to do that because it's still nothing compared to what you guys have done for us. Um, and kind of hearing that veteran's backstory and stuff, and how one of our other veterans that's in the organization who received a dog, he works with that veteran and he was able to spot that he needed help also, and that he would benefit from a dog. And again, I've been talking about like the ripple effect this whole time, and the ripple effect that these dogs have on the veterans, and then what the veterans are able to go do because of the dogs, it literally just changes so many lives. Um, and you don't realize it until you get into it. Like one small difference, like just one person trying to do something good can create a ripple effect, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see everybody there. I love that I got to see Luis and Arlo. That was so cool to see in Lynn and Panda. It was great to see them and see everyone just thriving and doing well.
The difference that these dogs make in our veterans' life, until you see the effect that it has on them and the bonding that they do together during their training.
Yeah,
It's like as many times as I see it at the training center and watch them train, I'm still shocked and awe over what it actually does for these veterans. It not only helps the veteran with the service dog, but it also helps reunite the family as well. And
exactly.
and that's a big thing for our
Exactly.
veterans. Zach, you were presented a service dog. Uh,
Yeah.
what was it like for you?
It was an emotional roller coaster. There's happiness, there's relief, there's all kinds of emotions that roll through your head. As you're standing up there, and um, you have somebody walking your dog up to you that you have been training with for X amount of time. So whenever I'm sitting there and I experienced it, the closest thing I can relate to it is seeing your best friend after 5 6 years. You lost touch, you haven't seen them in forever, and they walk up 5 or 6 years later to you. So with me, after getting the dog, it changed my life a lot. I was a shell of a person. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. And whenever I got my dog and I started going places, I didn't have the question of, is somebody there that I know is going to have my back if something happens?
Right.
Is there
Your
something going to
dog
jump out
always
and scare me?
your
So
dog becomes your battle buddy, right?
exactly. And we I sat there and I tried going to the store just a few weeks ago, uh, and I didn't have Rocky with me, and I noticed myself reverting back to the same place. Rocky wasn't feeling well. I didn't take him out that day. Went into the store. I was in the store maybe 10 minutes, and I was paranoid as none other. But if I take Rocky in with me, I don't have that feeling with me, and it definitely changes your whole aspect of everything. I'm married. I have 3 kids, and whenever you don't want to do anything, it puts a huge strain on the family, and
Right.
it changed everything in my life.
Jen, you
Yeah.
really struggled with this. I can't believe the effort that you put into sponsoring this service dog. I mean, I was following you every step of the way, and it was just one thing after another. I mean, your heart was definitely in what you were doing, because I mean, you actually pulled it off. And there was times I thought, well, I'm not sure she's going to be able to do this. And then
Yeah.
every day I got a surprise. Those funds were totaling up and adding up, and I thought, you know, I don't know how this grows. It's one thing for a organization company to sponsor a service dog, because they have the funds to do that
Right.
typically. With you started out without a dollar
Yeah.
to go towards sponsoring this dog, and in the limited amount of time you had, you pulled it off. I mean, you really did. I mean, I was just beside
I'm just as
myself.
shocked.
No,
but
you
but
did. You did a
like
great job.
Zach just said it best, and I wish this was the first time that I've heard. I don't want to say that story, but for lack of a better way to put it, I wish that was the first time that I heard that story, because every single veteran that I spoke to, and especially if they were men, they were like, you don't understand. Like, my kids were afraid to talk to me.
Right.
And I don't have kids, but I know that if I did, or even just anybody in my life that is close to me, if they were afraid to actually just say good morning to me because of how I might react because of trauma and anxiety and PTSD like that, I literally can't fathom what that would feel like. And again, that's like the ripple effect. Like, if you can't talk to your kids and your kids can't talk to you, what's going to happen when they grow up? And then when they have kids, and it's just so much
They
bigger
think
than
that they begin to think that's a normal way to be.
exactly. And like, Zach
Right.
should never have to feel like that for a second, not for a
Right.
second. And like, hearing this over and over again, it just broke my heart. And that's what like kept me going. And again, like, thank you, but this was nothing compared to what you guys do every single day. Even when you're not serving, you're still serving. And
You know,
I'm so appreciative of it.
I just don't think we do enough for our the night of the service dog presentation. Um, that's the night we make all about our veterans. We don't promote any of our events. We don't ask for anything. We want it to be a very special night just for our veterans. I think it's a night they should have got when they come home.
It's a night,
You know,
they should have that every night.
exactly, for what they sacrifice for our country, and you know, for our freedom. I don't think we do enough for them. You know,
We don't.
and I work with veterans all day, and what's so amazing about them, they don't even think they deserve anything.
I know.
They are so humble. They are just so, you know, grateful for anything. You
I
know,
know.
when I go to one of the grammar schools to talk to them, like I did for, you know, Veterans Day, the thing that I try to instill in them is that if you see a veteran and you know he's a veteran, you know, walk up to them and shake their hand and thank them for the service. It
Yeah.
doesn't cost anything, but
Yeah.
it lets them know that they're acknowledged, you know, for what they
Yeah.
sacrifice. Because, you know, not only the veteran makes the sacrifices, but their
The
family
family.
makes the sacrifice as well. You know,
Yeah.
they're not in to take care of the family. They're not seeing their kids. You know, they left their job behind. There's so many things that they sacrifice to go
Yeah.
serve the country. And yet when they come home, literally there's really not much for them. You
No.
know, so and if, I'm really happy to say that of all the service dogs that we provided, we have not lost one veteran to
That
PTSD suicide.
that's
So,
absolutely amazing.
and that's everything to us,
Yeah.
you know. So
No.
I can't thank you enough for what you've done. Really, you're an amazing lady. You
No.
have some determination like I haven't seen. And
Well,
you were you,
you guys
you were
got me in a good year. I'm in my last year in my 40s, and so I figured I had to go big. So
well. You
I
definitely went big. You
I had
also
to.
you also were saying that because you are in real estate, that well, why don't you tell us what you decided you wanted to do with future sales?
Yeah. So this this lasts from what it was like about 6 months, April to October. It was absolutely amazing. Um, and it was absolutely exhausting. So what I'm going to do from now on, because I still want to make sure that this happens at least once a year. That from now on, I'm just going to do my best to sell a ton of houses. So I work as a listing agent and a buyer's agent, and I will be donating a portion of my commission from every sale. So if you list a home with me, I specialize with VA loans, home buyers, and again, listing side and the buy side. I work both sides of transactions, and I'm just going to donate a portion of my commission. So then at the end of the year, I will be handing you guys a big check. And so
So, so you do both. So how can people reach you if one of our viewers are watching this and they want to list their house or buy a house? How do they contact you? Why don't you give us some contact?
so I'm on Facebook. So just Jenn Sereque, broker at John Green Realtor. You can just Google my name. It comes up again, John Green Realtor. I'm I live in Downers Grove, so, but I literally go from the city out west. I can literally go anywhere in this area for about like a 60, 70 mile radius. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm happy to help anybody. And, again, the more houses I sell, the more money is going to go towards a veteran getting a dog. So
That's amazing.
So that's,
And if they want, they can contact us, Canine, and we'll put them in touch with you.
yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes, so I have a California phone number. I refuse to change it. So sometimes when I call people, they think that it's a spam call. So
Right.
they don't answer. So it's always usually best to hand out my phone number. And again, like it's an honor to help veterans. I absolutely love it. And anything that I can do to give back, I absolutely want to do that.
Well, what you did was truly amazing. Like I said, there was times that she ain't gonna pull this off. I mean, it was a tough road for you. I see how you struggled.
Yeah, it definitely, it wasn't the easiest thing that I've ever done, but it was definitely the most worthwhile. So
Yeah, well, you did an amazing. That veteran, when we told him that he was going to be sponsored by you, I mean, he had tears in his eyes. He really did. He was he couldn't believe that somebody thought about him enough to go through. And when I told him what you went through, he was in just complete awe.
It's still like, thank you for saying that. But like when you say that though, it's so like ridiculous compared to what you guys have done for us that like, it was like, whenever like one of the veterans thanks me, I'm just like, please don't ever have those words come out of your mouth towards me again. Like, we are the ones who are thankful. Like, this is literally the least that we can do. And again, I've suffered from depression. My dogs got me through it. If it weren't for them, I don't know what I would have done. And so I get it better than anybody. And I don't want anyone to ever feel like that, especially one of our veterans. Never, ever, ever. So.
Yeah, these service dogs, believe me, and I'm sure Zach will tell you, they're they're a gift that keeps on giving. They really do. I mean, they're with our veterans 24/7.
Yeah.
And our veterans are never alone. They always have someone they could talk to, somebody that's always with them. We have a lot of veterans that wouldn't leave their house. When they get that service dog after a couple months of training with it, they'll ask their wife, could we go to Walmart? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the truth, really. They do. They'll ask them. Before that, they would sit in front of that TV for hours upon hours upon hours, not talk to their wife, their kids, their neighbors, anybody. That's the kind of difference that these service dogs will make in a veteran. It's like I said, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Like I said,
and the gift that you guys deserve, that unfortunately you have to receive or should be receiving, but I'm like, Zach, I'm just, thank you so much for your service. Thank you. And thank you to your wife as well. Because I know that that's, not easy. I've seen the flip side of it. And most of you guys go on to, become firefighters and, first responders, policemen and stuff, because you guys are the only ones brave enough to go run into a burning building. I have friends that are Chicago Fire and stuff. And so, it's like what the families and stuff go through is just, it's like, I don't, my best friend's married to a firefighter. I don't know how she does it. So it's,
When you came to the training center and you watched them training, not just the one you sponsored, but the other veterans, isn't that an amazing thing watching them work with their dogs?
it's absolutely amazing. And just like, again, listening to the stories, um, with the day that we filmed the news segment, there was another veteran there, and I overheard her telling Leanne Trotter, like that her first service dog had passed away, and the family, even though her family was all military, like great grandpa was in the military, and nobody in her family understood what this dog did for her until they saw her then without the dog. And her dad, within like a couple weeks, was just like, oh no, we'll pay for it ourselves. Like, you need a dog. Like, there's no way you can't not have a dog. Because the difference, I mean, Zach, like you said it earlier, right? Like 10 minutes in the store by yourself.
Yeah.
That, like, it made such a drastic, noticeable difference that they got her another dog, and she told Leanne, like, I don't commit suicide because nobody's gonna love Hank as much as I do. Nobody. Good. You're darn right. Nobody will. So stay here and, like, let's do this. Like, I don't want anyone ever feeling like that. So
No, these to watch them train with their dog and the bond that they form. I could see it every day, and it still amazes me to watch them come out of their shell.
yeah,
After they've been training. And what's funny is that they'll come out of their shell to the point where they'll have competition between themselves. My dog's better than your dog. My dog can do this. Your dog can't do that. And it's really healthy competition. And
I love it.
they also form a bond with the other veterans that are in the training class as well, because typically they've been so secluded, they don't have any friends. But now they're working every day, spending time every day with a veteran who's going through the same thing they are. And if anybody else understands it, it's another veteran, right, Zach?
Yeah. And, back to the whole training and building the bond thing, Mike, it's after a couple months of somebody coming in, you see them whenever they come in, they're quiet, they're reserved, they don't communicate with anybody, they don't know how to act. And then a few months down the road, you get them talking. And some of these veterans, as soon as they start coming out and they open up their shells, they are chatterboxes. I mean, I know there's been a few veterans that I brought it to their attention. I was like, hey, remember 3 months ago whenever you came in and you were so quiet? Well, now that's not the case.
Yeah.
You talk, you have a fun time.
Most veterans, before they get a service dog and they go into a public building with a lot of people, they're going to look for the closest table or seat to the door, furthest away from everybody as they can, because they really don't want to be around people. When they walk in by themselves, they feel like everybody's staring at them or pointing at them, or it's all about them. When a veteran walks in with a service dog, all the attention is focused on the service dog. So people will come up to the veteran and say, oh, what's your dog's name? How old is your dog? What kind of dog is that? So it gives them the opportunity to start talking to people that they typically would have avoided at all costs. I mean, they would have went out of their way, not because now they're not talking about themselves. Now it's about their service dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a big difference. And that opens the door for them to start to have conversations with people that they, like I said, typically would have avoided at all costs. So, Jenn, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for this veteran. I talk to this veteran often, and he'll still say, I can't thank Jenn enough. She changed my life.
Well, thank you. It's
the truth.
It's you guys. So, like, you guys are the ones, like, if I wouldn't even get this opportunity if it weren't for you guys. So,
Well, we couldn't do what we do if there wasn't people like yourself out there trying to help our veterans. There's a lot of great organizations out there today that are doing things for our veterans. Thank God,
yeah,
because it's just they need the help. And
yeah,
it's hard, as Zach will tell you, I'm sure, it's hard for a veteran to ask for help.
Oh,
But I tell them when they come in to train, I tell them up front, you have to be willing to say that you need help. If you can't admit that you need help, you're never going to get better.
yeah.
That first step in getting better is acknowledging that you do need help. And as soon as they do that, it just things change for them. They really do.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing that because it's definitely after everything that you guys do for us, it's just absurd that it's not being done more. Like you should never be in that space where you don't feel like that you can go out or that you can talk and stuff. Like we don't want that for you. We don't want that for you guys at all. We want you guys to thrive and do everything that we get to do because of you. So just
Well,
again, anything we can do.
I can't thank you enough. And that veteran thanks you every day, I'm sure, for,
Well,
you know,
I think it's
providing
Kyle
them.
every day too. So
I want to thank you for all you did to help this veteran. Uh,
absolutely.
Thank you for just doing what you do. And the passion that you have for our veterans is very obvious.
Yeah. I get that a lot.
It's an amazing thing. I want to
So
thank you for all you've done for us.
thank you
And again,
guys.
if anybody would like to, if you're looking, anybody out there that's looking for a real estate agent and they really want to have someone who's going to be
Pick
all
me, pick
hands
me.
on, right? It's gonna be, well, you're all hands on. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not about a listing. It's not about the selling. It's about how you could service that veteran or person to give them the best deal that they could get.
Yeah, it really is too, especially at my brokerage at John Green. Like it's it's literally like I typically don't even know what my commission check is because that's not the point. The point is to have somebody in a home and to be safe and to thrive. That's the whole point.
You're amazing at what you do. Keep up the good work. We're looking forward to
Thank
working
you.
with you again. God bless
Absolutely.
you. Zach, thank you for being who you are and for your service and for everything you do to help get the word out to our veterans because that's what we need to do. We need to let the veterans know that there is help out there for them, that they're
Yeah.
not alone. All they have to do is reach out, take that first step, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
that. I appreciate it just for your service and for speaking out on behalf of them because again, I know that it's not easy to do. So thank you for being their voice.
thank you so much.
Jen, I want to thank you one more time for what you're doing,
Thank you
uh,
guys.
what you've done for that veteran. God bless you.
Bless you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a great night.
Thanks. You too. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.